Hello, this is Blake again, and here we have my freshly uploaded source image, and we can see the facial feature annotation marks or location markers which identify where the neural nets located my facial features for my source photo. So as you can see from this here, this is a guide that basically walks you through where all of these different annotation points are supposed to be located. And so it's pretty straightforward to be able to see what you're supposed to do. And over here, you can basically see the source photo, and with the mouse wheel, you can zoom up and down. So the first thing we're going to do, we're just going to look at the overall shape of my chin line. So if I position at the very bottom of the image, and with my mouse wheel, you can see I zoom on just that point that my mouse is located. So here, as I hover over one of these points, you see it grows larger, becomes transparent, as well as the line becomes thinner. This enables you to move away from the point that you want and basically better locate your marker point. So you can see here, I can basically see my chin line goes like this, and likewise you can kind of follow the guideline there. Likewise, as we look at my lips, I have these larger than normal lips, which are also kind of lopsided. So I'll just mouse over, and I will be able to see exactly where I'm moving my point because it turns transparent. And I'm going to move these down into the break between my lips. Now this is key if you're going to be doing lip sync animation, because if the break on your lips doesn't match the break in your image, that's not going to look like you're talking very well. And as we can see here, I have giant fat lips. But oh well, thanks Mom. I remember girls liked them in high school, so that was fun. Okay, so zooming out just a little bit, we can see I have a very square jawline. That square jawline will be better represented by pulling out the annotation points almost horizontally. I pretty much, where they locate vertically is pretty much where you want to keep them. And the annotation points, at least on the outside of the face, you pretty much just, you want to draw them outward. And the way that these lines work is it finds the curvature in the line. So you see this section right over here where my chin actually extends slightly out from where the lines are marking. So here I can move this vertically along the edge and try to find the point which it's midway between where where I'm unable to make the curvature. The neural nets will not treat this edge as being, corners, so it will smooth that edge. Likewise, in places like this, it smooths that edge. Okay, now I'll reset the image, and let's go in and look at the nose. Now, of course, it's my image, so I can talk about it. You can see here, my nose is crooked. My nose is not going through these center lines. Although the annotation points are trying to line up that way, if I actually want to have my avatar be more accurate, I'll want to move this center point right into the center point of my nose. And then likewise, you move these points in and right on top of where the nose begins to pull out of the face. Now also, here's something worth noting. Look at these pixels. Notice this blotchy image quality, the blotchy pixel quality. That's because this photo was taken with an iPhone, and this is the quality of iPhone photographs. If you actually use a camera with a lens, this will be smooth and it will better capture your actual skin tone, where the iPhone and its minuscule lens doesn't let very much light in, and so you get these blotchy looking images. Okay, so as far as the points on the nose, if we look here, you can kind of see where they're supposed to be located. It's pretty clear, but I'll make some points here. You want this point here to be right in the center of your tip of your nose. This point here should be located pretty much right where your nostril begins. This point here should be right where your nostril ends. And this here should be located on the edge of where your nose begins to pull away from the nostrils. And likewise, you know, this, and this, these 4 points here, they pretty much make up the curvature of the outside of your nose. Okay, so if I do the same operation over here, we're going to get a more accurate shape of my nose. Okay, now let's look at the eyes. The eyes are where people spend a lot of time. It's usually where people look first at an avatar. And so it's critical that you get these annotation points located along the eye lines, because the texture is both going to be pulled out of this, as well as getting the shape of the eyes correct is one of the most leading indicators for the neural nets to be able to locate and create your actual shape correctly, or the subject in the photo's actual shape correctly. So here I'm moving these basically right on the edge between skin and eyeball. So we kind of see my slight cat-like eyes, and the eyebrows are pretty much obvious where they go. They are located directly above the eyebrow line, not through the middle. And one of the key points is this point right here should be located right over the center of the iris and the center of your eyes. So you see how it's located right there? That pretty much, that's one of the indicators the neural nets use for the face being turned away from the camera. Likewise, these points here, 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 and here, this vertical line, that's also used to help determine whether or not the user is turned away from the camera. And there's a lot of other subtle little points about it, but essentially what you want to do is move these points to be similar to this. If your subject has their mouth open, they're turned away from the camera, you do the best job you can. But in general, this is how you want it to look. This is how you want your source photos to look, and you'll get a very high quality avatar as a result. So let's have a look to see how this one looks. So when I say refine and review, that's going to perform a 3D reconstruction and then take me back to this same interface, which varies away from refine and continue, which is going to take you to the next interface, which is the detail morph interface. So here we can see my initial avatar in its 3D form. And also, these annotation points have now gone through the neural nets and were potentially revised. So let's have a look to see. It looks like I could probably adjust that just slightly. It looks like it left those pretty much the way they were. And I would say that this is pretty good. So I will refine and continue and move on to the next interface.